Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the STEAM Forward podcast. As always, I'm your host, Savannah, and today we have a super special episode for you because it's Teacher Appreciation Week. And we just want to take a moment to thank all teachers all around the world for the hard work that you do, not only to teach students, but you also inspire students to be bigger and better people of the future.
STEAM Forward Podcast.
So we just want to dive into why teacher appreciation has started and why it's important, what it takes to be a good teacher. I can talk about a few experiences that I've had of teachers that really inspired me, as well as, if you didn't know, I am in the process of becoming a teacher. I love teaching. It's something that I have found a new found passion for. So we'll talk about that process. Let's get started. So we asked our handy dandy friend, Avatar Buddy, how did Teacher Appreciation Week get started? So it says, Teacher Appreciation Week was started in the United States in 1984 through the efforts of National Parent Teacher Association, also known as the PTA. The goal was to honor and show gratitude towards educators for their invaluable contributions to the lives of students and society as a whole. One thing I really want to know is that teachers, I don't think that we give them enough credit in the idea that a teacher is with your child for 8 hours of the day, 5 days a week. And I think a lot of times it's easy to say that they're babysitting or they're reading from a book. But from what I know and from my own personal experiences in teaching, it's much more than that. A lot of times you have to be big sister, you have to be mom, you have to be dad, you have to be just a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on. You have to have lots of compassion and lots of empathy to understand the youth today. So I think being a teacher and appreciating teachers is so important because they are really molding and shaping kids for the future. And I remember back to when I was in school, and I was so inspired by a few of my teachers that I want to shout out. First, one of those teachers, I had an art class, and I'm not really an artsy person. A lot of people consider me a creative, but I don't really like to dive into the arts. So I really challenged myself in high school, and I took ceramics. And I had a teacher, and his name was Mr. Klein. And Mr. Klein, he was not your usual teacher that you could think of. Like, he wasn't really by the book. He didn't really have a lot of standards. But one thing about Mr. Klein, he was really passionate about ceramics. And not only was he passionate, he was actually really good at it. And he was very patient. And he understood that when teaching students that we're not going to get it from the first step. We're not going to get it maybe 3 weeks later. But he really took his time and he had a lot of patience with us. And I ended up taking ceramics 1, 2, and even honors ceramics. And it's not really a class I ever considered myself to take, but he inspired me to be better and bigger and to learn more in this area. Another teacher that I remember, he was my U.S. government teacher when I was in high school. I believe I was in like 10th grade. His name was Mr. Glenn. And Mr. Glenn, I didn't know until I took his class how much I loved history and how much I loved like government and politics. And so when I took his class, just the way that he taught, and he was such like a free thinker. He like validated everybody's experiences, everybody's opinions, and he really wanted students to explore more into the subject that he was teaching. And so I love teachers that keep you curious and that keep you on your toes and that make you want to dive deeper into the topic at hand. And the last teacher I want to point out, she was my AP psychology teacher. And when I took AP class, I was so intimidated because I don't know if you've ever taken one, but AP classes are extremely tough. They're really hard. And I think that the idea behind an AP class is that they want you to be over prepared for college because an AP class is not compared to a college course. They're actually honestly like 2 times harder than what you'll actually take in college. But I really appreciated my teacher. Her name was Miss Rodriguez. And she just was the most kindest, compassionate teacher I think I've ever had in my whole entire life. And what I really enjoyed about her is every single week when she taught a new like chapter or subject, or if we learned something new, she always used different teaching styles. So she would have us do through like listening, through visual, through working with partners. She just knew a lot of different techniques to help people learn. And what I really enjoyed about her class is that it really helped me understand how I was going to better understand a new concept or how I was going to better understand a new topic. So those are some teachers that have really inspired me and shaped me and really helped me dive deeper, but also better understand specific subjects and topics at hand. And I just feel what it takes to be a good teacher is to be patient. Through my experiences, I've learned that being patient has gotten me way further and getting a student to want to participate in the topic I'm teaching at hand. And I've learned that through youth ministry or through summer camp or through teaching at schools, certain curriculums, that when you're patient and you take your time and you answer every question, whether it's on topic or out of topic, students are more inclined to be present and pay attention. And I think that being a teacher, you have to understand that sometimes it goes after your 9 to 5. Like sometimes you have to give more time to a student after class, or you have to come a little earlier and tend to a student. You have to take more time and preparation to get prepared for the day. One thing that I always do is I always have pencils on hand. I don't know. I think it's so crazy how we can say, oh, well, you're not going to learn today because you didn't bring a pencil. I think that preparedness is, something a student should learn, but I don't think kids should be punished for not being prepared, because we all have bad days. We're all not prepared. We all have days where we're off as well. So I think that also understanding that we were once a youth too, and that we all are going through life just as they are. And this is their first time experiencing it. And so also the process that I've done just to become a teacher. Personally, I didn't know when I was younger I wanted to be a teacher. I'm going to be really honest. A lot of people told me for my whole life that I was a good teacher, but I just thought oh, okay, that's great. I don't really want to do teaching. And so I went to school for business and all these things, and I have a bunch of associate's degrees that don't matter because I'm never going to use them or whatever. And I have all these certifications that don't matter. So now I'm in the process of becoming certified teacher in the state of Florida. And what I've realized is that how I first learned that I like to teach kids was actually through youth ministry and doing a small group session and just kind of helping kids better understand the Bible or the topic at hand that we wanted the kids to understand. And what I realized is that I have a decent kind of influence on students. And I don't know if it's because I'm the same generation as them, if I'm as young as them, if I can relate to them better. I am a chronically online person is what I like to say. So I am Generation Z. So I've just always had an easy time connecting with students and just getting kids to understand me, but also me understanding them. So in this process of becoming a teacher, shout out to Pastor Linda, honestly, because she has given me so many opportunities and positions to just kind of experience this world of teaching and get my feet wet. And so if you didn't know, to become a teacher, there's a lot of tests you got to take. There's a lot of classes you got to take. And so I got my degree. I just need to be certified. So I'm in the process. You have to take 5 GKEs, and those are general knowledge exams. And then you have to take a general knowledge exam in the specific area that you want to teach. And so I'm still balancing between if I want to teach science or if I want to teach U.S. history at middle school level. I like middle schoolers the best. I think that to get them to explore and to be curious is easier when they're that age. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to being a middle school teacher. And so I got 4 more exams to take, and then I should be certified. So I'm extremely excited about that. And for the word of the day, I chose the word inspire. I think back at all the teachers I've ever had and all the instructors or just educators that I have come across, even working with Dr. Lisa and Anne and Fred. They all have education background experience, and they all have inspired me in a small way to be more curious and to explore more about the world of education, but also the topics that they teach. I love teachers that also teach such niche topics that most people don't have knowledge about. And it's so fun to just learn. As I got older, I really enjoyed learning more. But I think that as I'm in this position I am now, that I have the ability to inspire students to always stay curious and to always learn. I think that if I had more teachers like that when I was younger, I would have stayed curious for a really long time a couple years ago. But that's okay because we're here now and we're curious and we're learning and we're exploring. So I would say always choose to inspire and always choose students to explore and to be curious. And again, we just want to re-emphasize Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. We thank you, teachers, educators, administrators, everyone that has a teaching position or role that inspires and shapes the youth of America today and around the world. We thank you so much for the hard work and dedication and passion that you have to excel students forward, to keep being curious, to keep exploring, and to keep expanding and being better in this world. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
And as always, a special thanks to our sponsors, the Children's Trust and Trinity Church. And don't forget that there are 3 ways in which you can listen or watch this podcast. If you'd like to listen, follow us on Apple or Spotify. If you'd like to watch, follow us on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and click that bell for post notifications.
STEAM Forward Podcast.